Yo, and we are live, baby. We are live. Welcome to another glorious day. Today is Tuesday, July 18th. I was about to say August. It's July 18th, and I'm excited, bro. Just as usual, we are excited. We got 9 minutes till the market opens. Let's break down some levels here. And just I'm gonna just show you guys exactly what I'm looking at both ES and NQ. Again, I'm looking at both. Sometimes I notice there's better opportunities on NQ, sometimes I notice there's better opportunities on ES. So I'm just keeping an eye on both here and trading both, actually. Like if I see a better opportunity, a more clear visible opportunity on ES, I'm going that route. And then vice versa, if I see something better on NQ, I'm going that route. So let's get to it, man, because we got 9 minutes till the market opens, and I have a few things that I want to share. So first, looking at ES, okay, ES, okay. So kind of looking at the higher time frames, I'm gonna show you guys the 2 minute and the 5 minute here, but I hope that you're following along. I hope that you guys are also looking at your own screens and not just mine. So if we head over to ES, wait, why isn't this thing connected? Uh-oh, we're gonna have a problem here. Give me 1 second. Let me just adjust this very quickly. Do this. Do that. Okay, so that should work. Gotta just link the charts there. Okay, so going back to ES. So as I was saying, I want you guys to be looking at your own screens, not just mine, but looking at your own screens as well. So if we head over to the higher time frames here, and I'm looking right now, you guys can see the 2 minute on my screen, but I'm gonna head over to the 1 hour and just pay attention to what happened overnight. Not much, right? We've kind of stayed within this range here. We're making lower lows. I will say that we made a slightly lower low. However, we do have a few levels of interest down here. I'm looking at this 45.43 as a level of interest, the level of support actually. And then below that we have a 4 hour slash 2 hour transition to control zone. Um, Essentially what that means is buyers took control here. Okay, so I'm looking at that, and then above that we have a 30-minute transition to control zone, which essentially means sellers took over, and now we've bounced off this level here. And then above that we have another resistance level, which I mean we bounced off of it twice. Like looking at the higher time frames, we bounced off of it twice, but looking here at the 2 minute, we broke above it and we saw some really nice, I guess we didn't see an immediate rejection, so I would consider this a higher high when we take into consideration this high here. So we rejected this level, and then as you can tell, broke past it with high volume. We did kind of reject it, but we did have, several candles kind of hover above that. So I would consider it a higher high, but I'm gonna just leave that there because as you can tell, it had a hard time breaking past it after it rejected it. And I'm gonna just leave that there. Again, these aren't levels that I'm looking to trade. I'm not gonna get in as soon as we touch one of these levels, but I'm gonna see how price reacts, and if it's favorable, if it looks like it opens up an opportunity or opens up a good trade, then by all means we're gonna hit that we're gonna hit that buy button or sell button, whatever the case may be. Now, again, we're in a range. We have those levels of interest, and what else we got for ES? I think that's pretty much it. I do want to head over to NQ really quickly and just show you kind of what's going on there. Again, if you look at the overnight session, right, not much has happened. We rejected down here, and this I would definitely consider a rejection because we didn't really hover below that level, but we did reject this level here, 30-minute demand plus a support level, I would call it. And so we had that, rejected it once, rejected it twice, and if we go back to the overnight session, we rejected it here as well. So definitely a level of interest there. And then above that, we have this level of resistance slash a rejection. And again, it's the same story, same setup, right? This was the second rejection, or the second rejection. You see the air quotes, because the reason it's an air quoted rejection is because we broke past it, kind of hovered above it. So it's not really a true rejection, but again, I'm gonna just keep that level. You know, this is definitely a rejection there. Like, that's a true rejection. Came up to that level, quickly rejected it. This, on the other hand, not really, but again, we're gonna just leave it there, because if you look at the higher time frames, you can tell it's just one long wick, right? So it looks like a rejection from the higher time frames. So with that said, as of right now, I'm gonna let the market develop because we are currently balanced. Again, we're just in a range. If you look at the 1 hour, you look at the 2 hour, look at any high time frame setup or high time frame chart, you're gonna see that we're just balanced. So I'm gonna let the market develop here. We've managed to make a lower low here, and we've managed to make a higher high past this level up here. So, you know, market could go either way right now. We're below VWAP, we're below our EMAs. So we'll see how it reacts here. And I am going to draw one thing here on NASDAQ. I'm gonna draw this little line here. You know, I get pretty artistic when it comes to these charts, so you'll see me draw up a bunch of lines. I hope it doesn't get too messy and cluttery for you guys, but all these levels here, they have some kind of significance. So that line that I just drew there, I want to see how price reacts if and when, if it does reach that level, if and when it reaches that level. And again, this rejection here, it stemmed from the 30-minute demand and the support level that we have there. So I hope you guys appreciate that information there. Again, this is just kind of breaking down the market, understanding levels of interest, and if you do find some value in that, please hit the like button. That's all I ask for. And if you guys can share, that would be like a bonus. I would really give you a hug if you guys share this video. If I were able to, I'd give you guys a hug, because that really means a lot. Liking the button is, or hitting the like button is one thing, but sharing it, that's a whole other thing. You know, the algorithm loves that. So yeah, enough with that. Let's go ahead and wait for this thing to crack here. We got 1 minute till the market opens. So you'll hear that bell go off any time now. Any second, you're gonna hear that bell. And I like this right here. You see that little box that I just drew? All right, that's definitely a level of interest there. So we're gonna keep an eye on NASDAQ for now. ES kind of looks a little choppy. If you're looking at NQ, it looks a little more cleaner right now. Let me get rid of that box. I don't like it. Okay, very strong rejection here. See that box that I'm looking at I'm looking at ES now. And okay. Very volatile. Very volatile. We're still below VWAP. We're still below our EMAs. But we did break past some significant zones here. And on NASDAQ, actually, I failed. I forgot to mention that we do have, where's it at? 15. What's going on? This thing didn't. Ooh, it's. I have a 1 hour supply zone, or I'm sorry, a 1 hour demand. I'm surprised they didn't mark it down here. I'll figure that out right now. I don't know why this level here wasn't included in the charts, but I do have a 1 hour demand zone at a 15783. Looking at NASDAQ, 15783 is a supply. I'm sorry, a demand zone. So that's something else to keep in mind. Wait, I'm so confused. Hold up, give me 1 second, cause what's going on here? Oh, that's why. I'm tripping. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. Take that level. Forget that level. That's not a level there. I was looking at the wrong drawing set. That's why. But I like to keep this 5-minute chart clean, so we're gonna go ahead and there it is. Cool. All right, so I think we're good now. So we're seeing quite a bit. If you look over at ES, it is failing to make lower lows, unlike NASDAQ, who literally just broke past that low there. Ooh, I'd be interested to see. I'm not looking to take any trades right now. I don't see any setups, and some of the things that I'm looking for is, a high time frame key level like the ones that I was pointing out. All right, I'm talking 30-minute demand, demand zone, support levels, high time frame level preferably, and I'm looking for a strong rejection. I'm looking for defense. I'm looking for aggression in the market. So once we can identify those things there, I'd be open to taking a trade. As of right now, ES is looking pretty good because it's being supported. So if we head over to ES, you can see that it's being supported here. we're seeing a little bit of a divergence here. Like ES is trying to go up, Nasdaq is going down. Usually, I find the best trades when they're both on the same page, when they're both going up. When you see the similar setup on both, that's when usually you find the best setups. So we're just gonna remain patient here until we see something that sticks out, that screams out, you know, either buyers or sellers. I don't really care to go long or short. I want to secure a really good trade here. So I'm not biased. I'm definitely not biased. I try not to be. I'm just looking at both sides and seeing what makes the most sense under the given circumstances. I'm looking at Nasdaq right now. I like the rejection that we saw down here at 754. This is definitely a level of interest here. Yeah, we're at a level of interest. If we can break past, I'm gonna guide you guys to NQ here. If we can break past this 1575 level, there's that little box there. If we can break above it, I'd be interested in going long. But I also want to see ES make a higher high. So there's two things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at ES making a higher high, and because it's still within the range there, so I don't want this to fake me out. So those are two things that I'm looking for. If we can break, but it's already looking unfavorable. I want it to be a strong, fast break, right? Because we do have somewhat of a key level down here, which I think it's important to jot down. So we had a really strong rejection here. So that level that just appeared, that's a very strong we had a very strong rejection yesterday. That's where we rejected. If you're looking at the 1 hour, we had a very, what do you call it? I think a hammer candle. That'd be the technical term. The hammer, or is it the other one? it's just a candle with a very strong rejection, so it's a definitely considered bullish here. So I'm looking at ES and I'm looking at NASDAQ here. If NASDAQ can get above that, I'd be interested in going long. We'd be risking about 10 points on that one, but I would need to see a very strong fast break past this 15.776. There you go. We're seeing a higher highs here with ES. Might have to give this a shot here. It's already broke above it. If we can open up and then just retrace a little bit, I'm gonna hop in. Oh, I'm gonna hop in. I'm gonna hop in right now. I like that little rejection there, so I got in at set 15,779, and my stop loss is gonna be right below that bullish candle. So I'm in long there. We broke past that box. I'm in long. We broke above it, and then my stop loss is right at 15,765. 15,765. I'm going long here, and then if this works out, I think I'd be targeting. I'm gonna go ahead and target. We're seeing higher highs on ES. I hope this isn't just a very strong rejection here. I'm getting a little concerned here.
Stop filled.
All right, stop filled. Cancellation or rejected. What am I? Okay, so we had a little paper cut there. Did get stopped out. I saw ES climbing higher, and I liked that little zone there that we broke past, but didn't necessarily work out. ES is making higher highs, and that was part of my thesis there. Was it's making higher highs. We came down to this level here, this 15,760 level, so I know there is I know we do have, you know, some buyers that are defending that. A lot of volume being transacted at these levels here. So we're seeing another rejection here. I'm tempted to give it another stab here. We're definitely finding some support here. And again, ES keeps making higher highs. One thing I will point out though is if we go to the higher time frames right now on NASDAQ, so let's go to like the 30-minute, we do have a supply zone right here that formed. We do have that, so maybe we ought to wait until we see price test this level. If we can get above it, then maybe it'd be better if we can. It'd be better to, you know, as long as we stay below this level here. Here, let's do this. We already invalidated this demand zone, 30-minute demand zone, this support level. But now we have this 30-minute supply zone that formed at the market open. 30-minute supply. Okay, so you see that? 30-minute supply right there. So now I actually want to see price. I want to see price get up to this level and see how it reacts. And then if I go over to ES, I want to see what ES is doing really quickly. Because ES is making higher highs, which was one of the reasons why I went long in that position. ES is making higher highs. It broke past its range. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Seems like we have a little bit of a high interest area right there, and we did just smack it. So as of right now, I don't have anything. So you see that very strong rejection there. We do have, if you look over to yesterday, we do have, you know, an area with a lot of volume right at that 45.58. Bless me. Yo, if you guys can do me a big favor and hit the like button, the algorithm would appreciate it. And I would too. Hit the like button. That's all I ask for. So we took one trade right now. Took a small little paper cut loss. I was liking the divergence between ES and NASDAQ. It's NASDAQ, I mean, ES was making higher highs, and then NASDAQ seemed to have been turning around, but it didn't work out the way I expected it to. So took a small little loss right there. So that level of resistance is now acting as support here on ES. I'm looking at ES right now. There could potentially be a trade. You guys see that box I just drew? If we can maybe get above that, with some nice volume, I'd maybe be interested in taking this long right here. I would also need to see the only issue here is there's quite a bit of levels of support, levels of resistance up in these levels. We had a really strong rejection down here on NASDAQ. Seeing a really strong rejection at these levels. Now we did manage to break above that, but I'm looking like I said, I'm looking both at Nasdaq and ES, and the best trades come when they're both on the same page. And right now I need to see something else happen here on Nasdaq. I need to see us get above 1572, 15772 for me to really diagnose this as like an uptrend. As of right now, I don't. I think it'd be a little too early to say we're starting a uptrend now. I'm gonna guide you guys right over to Nasdaq. I want to see how this plays out here. This little box. If we can break above this box here, I'm gonna give the longs another shot. All right, I'm gonna give the longs another shot here.
Order filled.
Got in at, just got in right now. We're giving the longs another shot right here. See how that works out. We're making higher highs on ES. We just broke past a significant level here with some nice volume. We definitely saw some defense down here. So I like this setup. So we got in at 15,771, 15,771. It's looking pretty good, honestly. And my stop loss is like about 12 points from that on Nasdaq here. So now I just need to see this, make higher highs. And if we can do that, I think we'll be good. Now we do have that 30-minute demand or 30-minute supply, so that's something to keep an eye out for. ES is making higher highs though. ES is making higher highs here. So I feel a little more comfortable taking this one, in comparison to that last one that we took. This one feels a little better. We just got to stay above. My stop loss is right below. Let me guide you guys right back over to Nasdaq. So my stop loss is down here at this 15,760, a little like 2 points below that. So 15,758. That's where my stop loss is at. And I really want to see this make higher highs here. ES is making higher highs. So I want NASDAQ to follow suit and bring this thing higher. And if we can have if we see a really strong break past VWAP, that would be very bullish. That would be very bullish. So what's the concern here? The concern is that 30-minute supply. Honestly, we had a lot of volume, we had a lot of selling pressure when market first opened, but we're seeing buyers do a pretty good job of defending these levels, defending these lower levels. I just need to see. I'm noticing that. I'm noticing ES. It keeps making higher highs. I maybe should have taken that trade instead of this one. Alright, seems like we're coming back down to that, to my entry. Man, I need to see this thing bounce from here. I can't afford another L here. I need to see this thing bounce off of this 1570, 771. So we are seeing that little bounce there. Oh, come on. Man, I already don't like this. It was looking good till it wasn't. Maybe we can find, you know, some support here at this 15,760. My stop loss is a little below that. Let's see how this goes, man. Man, the only concern for me is this 30-minute supply zone up here. I want to see how that reacts. And you know what I should do too? Going back to ES. Maybe I ought to mark down this level.
Stop filled.
Another L for me, man. Ooh, we had a strong... Don't tell me this thing is just gonna stop me out and then go my direction. That's some bullshit. Literally, like, just... I'm not even gonna say anything. I like that rejection that we just saw on ES. I mean on NASDAQ. It stopped me out. It stopped me out. Very strong rejection here. So this could potentially make higher highs here. A lot of volume came through. Man, that's fucking annoying. what was I gonna do? Oh yeah. So going to ES. Sorry, I keep bouncing. I just want to point out this level here. This level up here at this 45.65. I have to point that out because that was the high of yesterday. Man, we obviously we're seeing a divergence here because ES just keeps making higher highs, and Nasdaq is really struggling here, which is quite surprising because it's usually Nasdaq who kind of leads the way. So that was the same trade when as soon as I saw ES break past this zone and then I saw Nasdaq break past the zone that I drew on that chart, it gave me the confluence to go in, right? It was for me that was a bullish indication breaking past these key levels here. Um, so yesterday's high day, that's what I added, 45.65. Definitely a level to keep an eye out for. Man, so clearly ES is having a better day today. I mean, it started off a lot better than what we're seeing here with Nasdaq. Man, ES was clearly the better trade here. 45.57 would have been a nice entry. We would have been up on this position had I taken this one instead of the one on Nasdaq. I'd be cautious of when ES hits the high day from yesterday. I'd be cautious, just because we could potentially see some resistance there. So that's gonna be a really good profit target for some of the traders that are in right now. That's gonna be a profit target for them. That level that I drew up on Nasdaq, it keeps holding. It's a shame that we got stopped out, and honestly, at this point, I don't even want to get back in just because how many times we've hit it. But there's definitely buyers defending this area here. There's definitely buyers defending this area, but they're also sellers are also defending this area here. And once again, my reasoning for it was we were making higher highs on ES. We broke past this wedge. We found a lot of buyers down here. A very strong rejection and then an aggressive move. So that right there confirmed it. That right there confirmed the move. And my stop loss was right below this candle here. It was at 458. So we literally, it was at, I think it was 758, like 0.5. So I got stopped out by like a tick, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. Had I put a whole number, I would have probably still been in this trade, but it's not looking too bright though. I wouldn't be happy even if I was in this trade, just because we're seeing price kind of slow down here, and it's just kind of chilling in the same spot. So I don't like to see that. I think once ES hits the high days from yesterday, I think Nasdaq is also gonna hit this 30-minute supply. So we'll see what happens then. Yeah, but we're being supported here. We're seeing a little bit of resistance at this 15,787. We're finding some support down here, and it seems like price is respecting this little trend line here that I just drew, right? You could draw it from there, you could draw it from here. It's still being kind of supported there. Let's take a peek at the equities here. I want to look at the equities and see what they're doing. So Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft, we're kind of seeing, something similar to what Nasdaq's doing, kind of like in this little range after seeing such a strong move to the downside when market first opened. And then Apple too, man. Apple was doing this shit yesterday where it was just kind of consolidating, and we're starting to see that a little earlier today. We're seeing this consolidation here, so I don't. That probably explains why we're not seeing, a move to the upside here. But Apple and Microsoft kind of slowing things down here. However, I do see a wedge forming. If you guys are looking at Apple, there is a wedge forming here. Microsoft is now making higher highs, so this could potentially lead us out of this range here. Man, kind of unfortunate. I got stopped out. Yeah, by a tick. I got stopped out by a tick. So we're hitting VWAP now. We're hitting VWAP. Looks like price is rejecting here. Same thing with ES. We're seeing quite a bit of a rejection up here. Yeah, we're seeing a rejection up here on ES. So I'd be careful there. It's hard to say as right now where price wants to go. 10 minutes ago I would have told you, oh yeah, price wants to go up. But after seeing this consolidation here, I don't know where price is going to end up going. The concern here is, we have VWAP as resistance. We now have a 30-minute supply zone up here. And then with ES, we have a yesterday high day, which we haven't yet tested, but it is something that could potentially get tested where we see a very strong rejection. So there's a few things, that make it hard for me to go back in long. Microsoft rejected pretty strong too, and then Apple just broke below its wedge. Yeah, so as of right now, it doesn't look too bright. Not unless Apple breaks above its range. A lot of the times with these wedges, this is something important. A lot of the times with these wedges, you'll see price sometimes break to one side and then it'll fake out and then go to the other side. So we're not far from the wedge here on Apple. After breaking it, price isn't really far from it. So this could potentially, be a fake out here. We did see a strong rejection. At the same time, we saw Nasdaq rejecting off of VWAP. And at the same time, we saw ES rejecting off of these highs. So all these markets are really tied together. So that's one of the reasons that I take a look at the equities and ES and Nasdaq just to find conjunctions in the market. This is something that I talk about on my Instagram. If you guys haven't followed me, be sure to follow me. The handle is right above this video. It's trading.gear, and I talk about some of the things that I've learned, some tips and some tricks that can potentially help you out, because I want to accelerate the learning curve for some people, right? Because with the education that I've received, I've definitely made a whole lot of progress, but I still have some hills to climb. I'm still not where I want to be, but I have come to understand the markets at a really deep level. But sometimes you just have days like this where the market doesn't really want to cooperate, or it kind of just goes against you, and it really is just part of the game, dude. All right, so we're finding a little bit of acceptance below these levels. Microsoft also making, it's moving lower. So I'd just be cautious here. If you're in long, if you by any chance took that trade with me and you're still in it, I would have gone out a long time ago, just because I don't like this action here. This is consolidation. This is consolidation all the way around it, all the way. Yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just consolidation. So not much worth mentioning here. If you are in long, I would be hoping for this support to really get defended and then see some aggressive buying step in. But I'm not a fan of this. I am not a fan of this. Nice thing is we saw a very strong rejection here with a lot of volume down at this 15765. Saw a lot of volume, so this could potentially hold. I just feel like at this point we're just hoping that it holds. Not We don't necessarily have a whole lot of things backing this move up. Volume is also considerably lower. Like if you're looking at the 5 minute and the 10 minute, like just look at the volume bars. It's considerably lower. That's not a good sign, man. That just lets us know like there's no real edge here. A seller could just step in, or a buyer can just step in and then just move the market. So you are really at the mercy of the market here. There's no real edge, and that's why I'm gonna just wait until we either get below this level or above it. We could potentially, right now, what I'm looking at is we could potentially bounce off of this again, double bottom here, or we could get up to this 30-minute supply, and I want to see how it reacts there. And then the same thing with ES. We can either hit yesterday's high day, or we could test this 45.57 level, that trade that I wish I would have taken instead of the NASDAQ one. Like they happened at the same time and I was looking at both. I just chose to trade NASDAQ, but this one, it worked out. Not the biggest move, but this was a 1.5 point risk, and you're getting about 6 points here. So not the biggest move, but it worked out a whole lot better than NASDAQ, I'll say that. I'm gonna go get a little bit of water. I'll be back in a couple minutes. what did we miss? So again, no real edge here. No real edge. I was really hoping I'd come back and I'd see an amazing opportunity, but really haven't done anything. Microsoft, Apple. Microsoft could potentially be, we could be seeing a double bottom here on Microsoft. I don't know what to make of this action here. There's not much. Oh. We're still on live? Yes, we are. We're still live, baby. I like this. We saw a really strong rejection down here, and I like this little zone that just formed. I don't know what the hell Nasdaq is doing. I'm gonna just sweep it to the side because Nasdaq is not really doing much. Yeah, but we're seeing a double bottom here on Apple. Same thing with Microsoft. We're seeing a double bottom. Seems like we could potentially see higher highs. At least that's how it's looking as of right now. I'm not really interested in taking that. I was looking at this zone here, go long after we break above it, but I'm not really liking what's happening here. Did we have any news? At 7:30, we had. No, not that I can tell. 7:30. You gonna kick with Natalie or what?
I'm gonna drop it off and I'm gonna go sleep then.
Oh. Alright, I'll see you later, baby girl. There's not much I can say, to be honest. We just really haven't gotten any good opportunities here. So Once again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record player, but there is no edge in the market. It's hard for me to gauge where it wants to go. So I'm gonna just have to sit on my hands until there's something new. There's very low volume here. You know, this little push up, very low volume push. I don't like it to the upside. And we are going to find some resistance up here. Or not. This thing just broke past it. I want to see Nasdaq and test these highs, or I want to see ES test the highs, and I want to see Nasdaq go a little higher and test this 30-minute supply zone at 15,800. Once again, 15,800. That's the start of a 30-minute supply zone. Excuse me. Excuse me. This market is just putting me to sleep. Like, there's no real edge. And just kind of have to sit and wait until it decides to do something. And this is where a lot of people struggle because they feel the need to trade, and I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes, after sitting down for such a long time, just watching the market and not take any trades, like you're just itching to take a trade at least, because it really is a dopamine rush, right? You feel it run through your veins every single time you place a trade. You just feel that satisfaction I've I've now taken a mental effort to not do that, right? To remind myself, like, hey, that's not the way to go, bro. If there's no setup, I'm not gonna rush it. I mean, but you guys already know that it's very well known. Like, the industry does a really good job of telling you what to do and what not to do, right? You want to be patient, you want to be disciplined, and you want to have a routine. Like this, I'm not dropping any gems here. They're really not gems. They're just things that everybody knows. I feel like just some people choose not to do them. We really do. We really choose not to do them sometimes. And I mean, the thing about trading is completely discretionary. You get to choose what you want to trade, when you want to trade, if you want to trade. It's totally up to you. That's why this, I feel like that's why it's incredibly difficult to become successful at this, because you don't have anyone really holding you accountable. You're the only person that has to hold yourself accountable. It's completely discretionary. All right, so we're coming close to the high day and this 30-minute supply zone. We just broke past the high day, and we're seeing a break. Broke past VWAP, broke past the high day. Why do I feel like this thing's gonna like make higher highs? It's in a good position to make higher highs, and if we look at the equities, Microsoft is also moving higher. Same goes with Apple. It is moving higher. It is finding a little bit of resistance though. So we'll see how this thing turns out, bro. But I I think this is in a pretty good position to make higher highs. I just didn't see the volume backing up this trade, which is one of the reasons that I chose not to take the trade. I didn't like the volume that was behind. There was very low volume. But if we go over to Nasdaq, Nasdaq broke past a key level here. But again, I told myself I wouldn't trade if we're below this 30-minute supply. So we'll see how that reacts. But we did break above this. Broke above this box. We're now above VWAP. And the equities seem to be moving higher here. So we'll see how this turns out. If this does start to move lower though, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't know where to get in because there's no clear entry for me. It just makes it tough to take these trades, especially when you have so many different factors kind of going against you, right? Like that's when you really you just have to see whether I think the best thing to do in those scenarios is identify whether the risk to reward makes sense. Right, but in this particular scenario, like if I have a zone telling me to go long, but then I come across a zone, a few points above it that's telling me to go short, like, that makes it really tough. So in those particular situations, I feel like you're probably better off not trading it. But this was a zone here that I was looking at. We broke past it with some nice volume. Of course, I was just concerned about VWAP, 30-minute supply, definitely a level of resistance up here. So there were quite a few variables going against my trade. And then the ES was coming close to the high day from yesterday, so that's why you don't ever really know what levels are going to get respected and which ones. This is why I just kind of draw them out and then wait to see how price reacts to them. Why you gotta be so rude? I'm interested to see how this is gonna react here. kind of have a feeling this is gonna bounce. Let me look at the equities. I need to find some confluence here. If you have to think about it, then it's probably not the best setup, right? If you have to think about it, it's probably not the best setup. I'm having a really hard time going long here, even though I like the setup, just because, as I mentioned before, there are so many opposing factors right now going against us. We're below VWAP. We've now bounced off of this 30-minute supply zone, and ES is now coming down to the high days. Like, you know, it's just really tough for me to take this trade here. So for that reason, I think I'm gonna avoid it. I really believe you want to get to a level where trading just becomes intuitive, and I relate it a lot to sports, basketball in particular, because I'm a basketball player and I don't think about what I'm gonna do on the basketball court. I just do it. You know, just like second nature to me, right? I know when to shoot. I know when to dribble. Like, I don't think about all this stuff, and I think the same thing with the market is like, you just want it to become intuitive. When you have to think so damn hard about what you want to do or what you have to do, that's when I think you're kind of like in a bad spot, or you got some learning and experience to go through, right? But that's kind of what I was projecting, right? A bounce off of this level here, but we still have that 30-minute supply zone. It just makes it tough. It makes it tough. Where does price want to go? I mean, when you look at when you look at these higher time frames, right? I mean, just look at the candles. Like, what are they doing? What are they expressing? Like, where do they want to go? right? We clearly have a lot of support down here at this 15,754 level. If you look at NASDAQ, we have a lot of support down here. Whole lot of support down here. And it seems like we keep making higher highs here. However, we have this supply zone up here that I have to consider. And if I'm being quite frank, we don't really have a strong rejection up here at, you know, on ES. We don't really have a strong rejection up here. Oh, wow. Man, so ES just keeps climbing higher and higher. I'm smacking myself upside the head. I don't, you know, like that setup that formed, you know, right before 7. It was a great fucking setup. And it was the better setup in comparison to NASDAQ. So, you know, it is what it is, whatever's. but maybe next time, like pointing out another, some other things. ES was already uptrending. Nasdaq was downtrending, right? And I chose to long down. I chose to long Nasdaq, despite having this 30-minute supply zone, and clearly that didn't work out for me. So. As correlated as these markets are, like, look at the difference. Look at the difference. And I believe NASDAQ was going to get rebalanced, right? I think they were going to. Let me search that up because NASDAQ. So they're having this special rebalancing on NASDAQ. They say a special rebalance of NASDAQ 100 index will take place later this month as exchange operator NASDAQ looks to reduce the concentration of heavyweight companies that account for nearly half of the index weights. A blistering rally in growth and technology stocks has lifted the NASDAQ index by 37.5% this year. Wow, 37 point, man, if you're holding on to NASDAQ, that's amazing. That compares with 14.8 gain for the benchmark S&P 500. All right, it says Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Tesla combined account for 43.8 weight in index, according to Refinitiv data as of Monday's close. As part of the rebalance, that will come down to 38.5. So that is, 5% less. There's some concern that this handful of names is distorting the health of the overall stock market, which is likely what's spurring this special rebalance. The adjustment will be based on shares outstanding as of July 3rd. So this already, with changes set to be announced on July 14th and taking effect before the market opens on July 24th. So we're coming close to that date. Now I know 5% may not sound like a lot, but I think it is going to have, it should have some effect, right? It should have an impact now that we're seeing it's going to have less, or equities like Apple, Microsoft are going to have less of an influence. Not to say they're not going to have an influence, but they're going to have less of an influence as they do right now. Ugh. ES just keeps making higher highs, man. I don't know. I don't know why we're seeing this such a major divergence here. And one of the first things that I said is the best setups work out when you see both markets on the same page. That's one of the things that I said is when you see both of these moving in the same direction, that's usually when we have the best setups. So right now these trades that I've been taking on Nasdaq, they've been, I guess we can say that they've been lower probability setups because they're not moving, they're not aligned right now. So it's kind of difficult to really say where the market wants to go. Man, ES just keeps making higher highs. Ah. Oh, jeez. I don't really know what I'm looking for. Uh, I, there's no for me. There's no edge going long. There's no edge going short. I'm just waiting here. I'm literally just waiting until another opportunity presents itself. But we really haven't had like too many good opportunities. The only one which I keep talking about is this one here. That's the only one we really had. I don't see any other setup that's worked out. I mean this one too, but I just said I didn't like the volume. I didn't like the volume here, but this setup I did. There was some nice volume, really nice rejection down here, some nice aggression. So this was it's been the only setup so far. you know what? I don't want to keep you guys for too long here. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your presence. You know, we're live streaming every single morning, so I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. So, peace.